And
I was like, okay.
And then he was just like, okay. And then like, he just kind of integrated himself into my life. And I was like, I've never, and I mean this, like I've never had a man do that before. I've always been with someone who is like, no, I'm going to
control. It's control.
I'm going to cheer you on for this long. And I'm expecting you to get bored of it because I'm only going to cheer you from the sidelines. I'm going to keep you and what you do at arm's length and not really help you with it. And then not be a partner, not really be that person that wants to support you through it. You're just kind of letting them do their thing.
Oh,
and then,
powerful. Yeah.
And then, when they would hope, they had all these hopes that it was going to be my little hobby and I was just going to toss it and integrate myself into their world. And I loved what I was doing too much. And like the fact that he was the first person to come into my life and just be like, you know what? I really want to be involved in what you've got going on because I see how I can fit into this and I see how I can have purpose in this. It was like, I was like, whoa. I
got to say this, and I truly believe, I think the definition of true love, the way that I look at it, my perspective is being able to recognize the other energy for what it is. It's kind of like having a flower and it's the most beautiful thing in the world and you don't want to pick it because you want to make sure you can conserve it. Obviously that. Yeah, right. The beauty, the true beauty of the true essence of an individual. Mm-hmm. There's no control. Cause that's the whole thing about life. People don't realize it's all about how much you can surrender.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to destroy the version of myself to get I guess you would say get in the right frame of mind to be able to create the life of my dreams the next day. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and it took me years because, it took me years to discover this. And, of course you start making money you've never made before.
Yeah.
And you can give off an illusion. Success is just a warm freaking place to hide. Mm-hmm. And you can give off the illusion everything is good, but you're really struggling inside because I didn't know how to protect my energy and how to conserve my energy. I was like an open light, man. And it was just like they can get right to my true internal source and they're feeding and sucking that right out of me. Mm. So I couldn't recycle energy. And I felt like in all the things that I was doing and where I was getting my fulfillment from and happiness was helping people.
Yeah.
So, and that's where all I wanted to do once I discovered the gift. And then when I started to take a lot more time for myself to realize that I can't help everybody. I can't sell to the masses or can't help the masses. I got to help the ones that really need my help. And I had to create those boundaries there for me to recharge properly. So, yeah. And that's something that you do very well. I wish that I was at your age when I figured that out. Because
real.
But then again, it's a blessing that I didn't because I wouldn't be as powerful or wouldn't be as passionate about what I talk about now.
It's true. It was all divine timing, and 100%. You had to experience all of the things that you experienced to be where you are mentally now.
True.
And to be able to know exactly what your mission is. And sometimes people, they do feel that a little earlier, and sometimes people, they need to experience certain things in life to really like figure out their path and their purpose. And, I do. Sometimes I do feel very blessed. I think about all the time about how, in my 20s, I get to feel such alignment that a lot of people don't get to experience until later on.
Right.
And it's a blessing and a curse because once you feel true alignment, because you're always moving in and out of alignment, there's no way to stay in perfect alignment 24/7. We're human, and we're always going to have our ego kick into play and try to poke at us,
I do love my vortex.
But I'll tell you what, there's no better feeling when you've experienced being in the vortex and you're living life and you're in alignment and you're loving life unconditionally and
loving yourself.
Yeah. And you're loving yourself unconditionally. And I really do. I think about that all the time, about how I feel so blessed to have that knowledge, because I know a lot of people around me that are like, oh, that's just woo woo, or that's just this, or they don't.
I get a lot.
They don't think about how it all really does come together if you take the time just to lay it out and really look at it for what it is.
What's interesting is people say it's woo woo, yet you can prove that vibrationally everything vibrates at a specific frequency.
Yeah.
And that's why music touches people in different ways too.
Absolutely.
And it's because certain songs vibrate at a specific key or vibrate at a specific frequency. And so they touch different people differently because they're vibrating at that particular frequency at that particular time. Mm-hmm. And so it's why you listen to a song once and it doesn't resonate with you, but then you listen again and it's your favorite song of that week. you know?
Oh my
Well,
God.
also your
Word.
mind's not impressionable to be able to receive it the way that you need to receive that, obviously,
Right.
that music, kind of vibration, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, I like when I'm watching, one of my things that I do when to kind of force myself to, I have to trigger myself to get off, or get off work or get out of my own head. I have to watch something funny. If I watch something
I love
funny, I go back and obviously I recharge that way because I love humor, I love comedy. But I learned how to be able to speak and be able to communicate through stand-up comedy. It's just one of my favorite things, is about how they tell the story and drop angers. But my point that I wanted to make is that when you're spending that time invested into you can start understanding, where do I need to recycle? Where can I recharge? And me recharging, it's all about just, okay, what brings me more happiness?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if your mind's unimpressionable, if I'm working too hard or my mind's stimulated, I'm working on the other side of my brain too much, that doesn't give me a lot of pleasure, it doesn't give me a lot of fulfillment, then I can't even receive something funny. I can't follow it. I'm like,
right.
so that's an indication that you'll end up burning out because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing in life. Not that you're burning out because you're working as hard as you're working. You're not plugging into other things that bring you joy.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's
100%.
so important to recognize that. And, it kind of all ties back into itself too, because that's, again, the importance of, what are you consuming every day? What are you listening to? You are what you listen to. People always say you are what you eat, but no, you are what you read. You are what you watch. You are what you consume. And that's, again, I'm tying it back in. That's the importance of my message, is I want to be the person that when you are listening to something, it's going to be of value to you, and it's just so interesting. Like, for anybody who's not a believer, I'll end my last words of, you need to go check out Dr. Emoto's water experiment, because that's the proof right there of that, what you're listening to, even just a word. If you hear something enough times, forget the music and the frequencies of the music around it, the words and the things that you're reading. If you're not reading things that are lifting you up and bringing you positivity and bringing real value to your life, that is going to eventually drag you down.
Well, I can go on a tangent right now, but we'll save it for the second episode. Yes. But they have a lot of, and I'm not going to get into the satanic stuff and whatever, but they drop certain things in certain songs and you don't even realize what they're saying to you.
It's so scary.
So, and you'll end up singing. I caught myself because I grew up and, really enjoying like old school R&B. My mom's Italian, so old school R&B. I'm like Teddy Pendergrass, just slide into the song shit. Like, I love that type of music. And then it went from, of course, I love country. I'm from the South, so love country music. And I just grew up all different types of music. Like James Brown was one of my favorite things. I love James Brown. People can move a crowd and move an audience. Then of course, hip hop. I loved hip hop. But I'm talking like rap, when rap was rap. I can't listen to this shit. I can't listen to it, man. And they don't realize it. They're a bunch of mumble rappers. They're not rapping or they're not lyricists. There's a few of them, like J. Cole. If you're listening to this ever, I definitely would like to have you on the show. But like certain rappers, they're lyricists.
Oh yeah.
Can we get Dr. Dre on the show or Eminem? Like, please.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. Like, I mean, at some point, and the way I look at life and the way I look at my journey, like that's when I do meet. And I'm a blessed individual to meet the people that I meet. Speaking with Jesslee was just like one of my favorite interviews of all time. I was like, wow, this person, because I knew before I interviewed you how multifaceted you were. Because I saw I didn't see you where you were right now. I saw you of the potential on what you could be.
Yeah.
Right. And should be with the right guidance and you having the right people there in place to ensure that you're going to stay true and authentic to yourself.
Absolutely. And that's what's most important.
Right.
Me.
So guys, I mean, if you're listening to this, I mean, if you want to learn more and obviously watch the videos and consuming more content, what we will be doing is doing certain giveaways for the fans. And we're within winjet.com and Winjet community. What we're here to do is have a real community, not just influencers, not just, content creators or podcast hosts or people doing music or people doing TV. We're creating a real community where you're going to get access behind a little bit more direct access to certain like never seen before footage. And that's going to be really something special to watch where
like the ping pong.
Like the ping pong game.
Yeah, like perfect example. And that's why we wanted to, obviously for episode 1 to give a little bit more of an idea of what this is. So again, If you're listening to this, text 843-396-2104, Jesslee. That's going to go into the folder and obviously start giving you a little bit more access. Guys, I appreciate your time. Appreciate your effort. Jesslee, thank you so much.
Buddy. I'm excited to do this.
I am amped that we are all doing this. This is like a dream. Like, this is not where
It was all a dream.
This is not where I expected it to go, and it's so much better. And like, that's what happens. We're in alignment. We're a team, y'all.
I don't know if you realize this, but you just called us podcast holes. Did you realize you did that?
No, I said podcasters.
Oh, I thought you said podcast holes.
No, not podcast. That's kind of funny though. We should coin that.
The podcast holes.
The podcastals. I can go somewhere else for that, but I'll shut up. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Peace out. Much love. And follow Jesslee on her social. It's all been screaming. It's Jesslee Country and the Steve Virginia.